Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome back to the class. Today we discuss about the functions of the DBMS and the object in DBMS in means in database management system. So a DBMS perform the following functions to ensure the integrity and the consistency of the data into the database. So the number one was reduce data redundancy. So it means that we can find out the duplication in our database. So this can help you to find out any kind of duplication or any kind of duplicate entry in your MS Access form or in query or in report. Okay, so the DBMS helps to remove the duplicate data. For example, in a library, the name of the book may occurs under the author's name and ISBN. If you are trying to put the entry by the name of the book and by the code of the book, and by mistake you did two entries, so you can get a notification on data that you made the second entry, which is already available in your database. So this is how data redundancy can reduce the risk of duplicate entries in your file. Then the second one we discuss about the facilitate sharing of data. In that, the different user can access and use the same database, means you are facilitating others so they can get the same file or the same database to work on it. Okay, so you can take the example over here for the admission department that the school database for storing and retrieving admission number of the students, while the teacher can use the same database for retrieve the student name. Okay, if the school is means the management is storing the data of the student in the system and they are saving all that data by the name and they are storing different kinds of information in it, so the teacher can also find the data in that database easily, so he don't need to write the entries again or he don't need to get worried about to find the information. So what he can do, what teacher can do, he can do that he can open the file, okay, which already made by the administration, and the teacher can go into it and he can find the data over there by finding the name and by writing the name to see that this entry is available in the data or not. Okay, so this is a very easy option instead of as we used in Excel. So the third one was about controls data inconsistency. So if you want to do any kind of changes in any kind of field or any kind of information, so you can do it anytime and it can get changed automatically into the database as well. So for example, you can take example of a library. If there are two records for a single book, one under the author's name and the another one under new stock. So the detail might be changed under one record. So if you are trying to record the two entries, means by author name and by the like that by the name and by the stock, means how many stocks are over there, and you're putting all the information in your database, so the system will automatically find that information which is already available in the system and it can replace that information with the new one. Okay, it can update the information in it. So this may lead to inconsistency as both the records for the same book would contain different information and a DBMS stop this from happening. So the DBS system can stop this kind of mishap. So this is a very good option that we are going to use in our MS Access. So then number 4, enforces standards. So in a DBMS, there are some kind of standards. As if you are in the school, take an example. If you are in the school, there are some code of conduct, okay, which you will have to follow. So same like that, there are some rules or the code of conduct in MS Access that you cannot change. Okay, if you are trying to put the fake information in the form or in the MS Access database, you will not be allowed to do this kind of thing because it is not allowed from the author who made that form. Okay, so you must have to put your original name, the real name, and the real address or other relevant information which is asked in the form. So you cannot do anything that is just as like fake. So that's why there are some structures and the format of data that you have to provide the information in this kind of format and in this kind of structure. Okay. So then the fifth one is ensures data security. The data security of any means of any record, it must be get protected by DBMS, means database management system. So that's why only the authorized person can access in these kinds of files. If I am going to give you the access, then you can access in the system. If I'm not going to give you the access, then you will not be able to get the access or do any kind of thing in your database management system. So the last one was all about maintains integrity. How can we maintain the integrity? So as I told you before this, that there are some rules which everyone will have to follow, means the code of conduct, the constraints which everyone will have to follow. So you will have to follow. You are not required to provide the fake information. And there are something which we already did in the last year, as we were using this one, Microsoft Form. As I told you in the class as well, that there is a star, the red star. If you will leave any kind of question blank, the red star can give you the notification that you left something in your form. Okay, so you must have to fill it up. So same like that, the database management system, means the access, is not allowing you to leave any kind of entry without putting any value. So all the forms, as you can see, the Microsoft forms and different kinds of forms, they all can be made on this MS Access. Okay, so this is a very good software to make the forms, to make the queries, to make the reports and the tables. So now let's move for database objects. So the second point, in the database object, I am going to show you some steps here. First of all, you must need to go to the create, and here is the bar in which you can see different kinds of options. So in the database object, we have the objects here. The first one is table, the second one is query. You can see here the query, and the form. There we have form here. Okay, we have three kinds of options here in the form. So we are going to use this when we are going to do the practical in the lab. And here we have the reports. So each section has its own different kinds of options in it. So you can see the queries, forms, and the reports. So these four are the database object. So table, in table you can create the table. Right now we are in table 1. As you can see, we can make the entry here, any entry which you want. So we'll, and this entry can help us to do all these kinds of entries like this. Okay, so we will see inshallah when we are going to do practical work. But right now, let me tell you about the table. So what table you can do, it can store information in the form of rows and the columns. So you can see there it is row, and this one is a column. Okay, so it is same like Excel, the rows and the columns. We are working in rows and columns in a table. For example, that one table could store a list of students along with their details. Man, I already showed you in the class as well that you can store the data of the student like by the name of student name, address, phone number, and their class. Okay, so you can create any kind of table in it. So let's move for the query now. Query, in query, what you can do, these are going to used for sorting, grouping, filtering the data in the database. As I gave you the example that you can filter the data by your choice. Okay, and you can sort out the data from A to Z. It's up to your choice that what kind of thing you want on top and what kind of thing you want on the bottom. So for example, a query might only display a list of the student in class 7 out of all students. So what is this? This is called filtering. Means if you are going to choose grade 7 only in the list, so it can be called as like filtering, that you are filtering up the data. Sorting can be from A to Z and Z to A. Okay, and grouping can be means you are grouping up two kinds of things, like you are grouping the address, you are grouping the student name, and you are grouping the phone number together. Okay, so this is called queries. Then we are going to move on the forms. In the forms you can see form design and the blank form, so it's a pure choice. You can go for it and you can go for it. In this you can make your own form by your choice. Here you can get the designs, and here you can create the form. Okay, so in the form means you can create the customized screen to provide any easy way to enter and view the data in the table for a query. Okay, for example, when you apply for admission in the school, you fill out an online form. As I gave you the example already, in the school there are some of the universities that they are giving you the access to create your admission form, to make or to fill up your admission form, and you can send them easily, even though they are taking your test over there. Means as like the aptitude test, means the admission test. Okay, if you will get some questions over there, you will have to answer, and they can do the grading over there, that you are eligible for the student in this college or in this university or not. So they can give you the answer on a time as well, because they already made different kinds of automated system, so they can check by it, or maybe they can check later on and they can give you the reply on that form or on that report. Okay, so it is very easy to do this thing by sitting at home. So let's move for the reports, the last one. In the reports, that the reports can present the data from a table or a query in a printed format. As I told you in the class, that report is a printed form of like the form or the query. Okay, it is a printed format. Okay, for example, that the teacher can create a report of all students opting for fine art as a subject. As I told you in the class, that you guys can take the report from Mr. Jawad in the school, and maybe you can have the option that you can download your report online. Okay, so it is like a report that can show your marks, your name, your grades in a printed form. Okay, so this is all about the database object. So hopefully you understood this thing, and see you inshallah in the next class. So bye bye.